Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you are joining us from. We can see from the chat that we have a spread of people from Latin America all the way to Asia. So it's really, really nice that you're joining to be part of this webinar. So my name is Ruairi Gough, Assistant Program Officer in the Innovation and Excellence and TVET team in UNESCO-UNEVOC, and I've managed the UNEVOC Network Coaction initiative since its pilot in 2022. I've been lucky enough to follow a lot of very successful and impactful projects over those years. And today I have the great pleasure of moderating this showcase webinar. So on behalf of UNESCO-UNEVOC, I would like to warmly welcome all project partners, those from the UNEVOC network and colleagues from the wider TVET community. So today's event is a showcase webinar for the 2025 edition of the UNEVOC Network Coaction Initiative. So we're going to hear directly from teams leading this year's coaction projects, and we do hope you will come away with some ideas and tools that you can bring back into your own institutions and networks. Now, just before we begin, I'd like to go over a few quick housekeeping rules. So if you experience any technical issues during the webinar today, please try leaving and rejoining the meeting, or let us know in the chat and we'll do our best to help you. This meeting is going to be recorded, so it will be shared via our YouTube channel and posted on the Coaction Initiative webpage, which should be in the chat that you can click on when it's posted. We kindly ask you to keep your microphone muted during the presentation to avoid any background noise. And you're welcome to keep your camera on or off, depending on what you feel comfortable. There will be time for questions and answers after each project presentation. So please share your questions in the chat at any time during the presentations, and we'll get to those questions during the dedicated Q&A session, which takes place for 10 minutes following each of the presentations. So in terms of structure, we are going to begin with opening remarks to frame today's webinar. We will then hear for a short input on how the Coaction Initiative fits within the coordinated effort towards a global TVET agenda. We will then move into a series of short presentations, as I've just mentioned, from the Coaction project teams, each followed by a brief Q&A. So at the end, we will actually share some information about the upcoming 2026 edition of the Coaction Initiative, which we're very excited about and looking forward to share this information with you. So to officially open today's webinar, I am pleased to invite my colleague, Mr. Olivier Pieume, who is the Chief of the Technical Cooperation Unit and Head of the UNEVOC Network Secretariat here at UNESCO-UNEVOC. He will give the opening remarks for today's webinar. So Olivier, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rory. And I am very happy to be part of this important event. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all of you, depending on where you are joining us today. My name is, as Rory just said, my name is Olivier Pieume. I am in charge of the technical cooperation, and I also lead the UNEVOC Network Secretariat here in UNESCO-UNEVOC. It's a big pleasure for me to open this event, and especially to also be part of this event where we will showcase some concrete results that we have achieved during the past year. Today's webinar is held under the theme From Idea to Impact, Scaling Coaction Initiative Solution across the UNEVOC network and TVET system. Over the next 2 hours, we will hear directly from the team behind the 2025 Coaction project, who will share what they have built, test, and learn. I would like to start by say about what is the Coaction Initiative. The UNEVOC Network Coaction Initiative supports short-cycle collaborative projects that generate practical, reusable solutions to contemporary TVET challenge. It enables UNEVOC to work together on concrete problems and to develop tools, methods, and learning resources that can be adapted by TVET institutions around the world. This initiative is the only initiative that targets UNEVOC Centre, specifically leveraging their expertise and experience to develop and implement projects that bring significant change to the TVET landscape. The 2025 project focused on cutting-edge areas such as AI, enabler educator upskilling, stronger TVET industry partnership, market space-driven problem solving, and methodology for mapping dual training ecosystem. To date, UNESCO-UNEVOC has supported 12 projects covering 53 unique UNEVOC centers from 42 countries. In total, we have reached 22% of the UNEVOC network through this initiative, and we look forward to supporting more UNEVOC centers in the future. And this was possible with the support with the German government. I would like to thank especially the German Federal Ministry of Education, Family Affairs, Senior Citizen, Women and Youth as part of the coordinated effort toward a global TVET agenda. We are deeply grateful to the German Federal Ministry for its continued support and for making this initiative and to the webinar possible. I would also like to warmly acknowledge our colleague at the Federal Institute for Vocational Education and Training, BIBB, for their close partnership and their strong engagement in the Coaction initiative. As a UNEVOC Center, I consider through this initiative, UNEVOC Center are not only receiving support, they are also co-creating solutions for the wide network. These projects strength extra capacity, build new and lasting partnership, and generate model and resources that can be scaled within and beyond the UNEVOC network. In this way, Coaction contributes directly to advancing TVET innovation and to support progress toward SDG 4 and UNESCO strategy for TVET goals. As a participant, you will hear for 4 short project presentations today, each focusing on a different aspect of innovation in TVET. We hope that by the end of the webinar, you will have discovered at least one concrete idea or tool that you can take back and adapt it in your day-to-day work. But to really benefit, I invite all UNEVOC Center and TVET stakeholders joining us today to think about how this Coaction output could be used or adapted in their institution, region, or country. Your question and feedback today will also help us refine and strengthen the Coaction initiative as we look ahead to the 2026 edition. Once again, and in conclusion, I would like to thank the German Federal Ministry of Education, Family Affairs, Senior Citizens, Women and Youth for its financial support, BIBB for its strong partnership, and all the lead and partner centers involved in the 2025 Coaction project for their dedication and hard work. Thank you as well to all of you for joining us and for your ongoing engagement with the UNEVOC network. With that, I would like to hand over to my colleague, Ruairi. Ruairi, back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olivier. Appreciate that opening remarks, and it kind of sets the scene for today's webinar. So now we're going to move on to the second opening remarks. We're going to hear a short input on how the UNEVOC Network Coaction Initiative fits within the coordinated effort towards a global TVET agenda. So I'm pleased to invite Ms. Cara Schmidt, Mr. Sebastian Ciołek from the Federal Institute of Vocational Education and Training in BIBB here in Germany. So Cara and Sebastian, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Rory, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Sebastian Ciołek, and I work at the German Federal Institution for Vocational Education and Training of the BIBB. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all to the showcase webinar. It's truly inspiring to see participants joining us from all around the world. today's session will shine a light on some of the remarkable collaborative work taking place within the global TVET community. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing about the 4 Coaction initiatives project of this year. Before we begin, as mentioned of Rory, allow me to briefly situate this work within the broader framework of the Towards to a Global TVET Agenda initiative. This initiative is coordinated global effort to strengthen TVET systems worldwide. And it's, like mentioned, it's founded by the German Federal Ministry of Family Affairs, Senior Citizens, Women and Youth, and coordinated by the BIBB. At its core lies a very simple conviction: the robust and sustained international cooperation is essential if we are to address the complex and rapidly evolving challenges facing TVET. What makes this initiative particularly exciting is the multilateral design. It brings together 4 major international organizations: UNESCO-UNEVOC, the ILO, the OECD, and the ETF. Their combined expertise forms a powerful platform for shaping global TVET policies, facilitating evidence-based decision-making, and promoting modular learning across regions. Together, the partners are working in 4 strategic focus areas: knowledge sharing and global fora, global regional TVET innovations, including capacity building for social partner engagements, prototyping, global TVET data reporting, and partnership for excellence, including an open policy partnership with Regionals Network on World Skills. This initiative is both timely and necessary. We live in a world undergoing profound transformations, from AI and digitalization to climate change, demographic shifts, and so on. This focus area reshaping labor markets at breathtaking speed. Yet many TVET systems struggle to adapt. TVET, I think, in my opinion, must therefore be the center of this transformation. And yet, globally, TVET remains underrepresented in major policy debates. The TGTA initiative was created to help change that, to ensure that TVET is recognized, strengthened, and placed firmly on the global policy agenda. This initiative pursues 4 overarching objectives: elevating TVET on the global policy agenda, strengthening evidence data from TVET reform, building long-term multilateral partnerships, and promoting dual training and work-based learning. For Germany, the initiative also represents an opportunity to contribute to shaping global skills development. The German dual TVET system serves as a key reference point, particularly regarding work-based learning and strong industry involvement. By positioning TVET as a driver for economic growth, social justice, and sustainable development, Germany aims to help make TVET a pathway of choice for young people worldwide. This brings us directly to the UNEVOC Network Coaction initiative, which serves as UNEVOC's one primary contribution towards a global TVET agenda initiatives. The Coaction initiative fosters global collaboration and innovation by supporting joint projects among UNEVOC centers. It provides a practical platform for knowledge exchange, the development of innovative solutions, and cross-regional partnerships building. The current project addresses issues such as AI-enabled upskilling of educators, strengthening industry TVET cooperation, and expanding work-based learning areas. And this aligned with the Towards a Global TVET agenda totally, and makes a building modern, inclusive, and resilient TVET systems. Through these joint efforts, the Coaction initiative contributes to scalable solutions and a global exchange of best practices, helping bring the vision of a global TVET agenda to life. The Coaction initiative plays a crucial role in the Towards a Global TVET agenda, emphasizing on capacity building and knowledge sharing. By connecting institutions from diverse regions and sectors, it enables practical, hands-on collaboration that directly addresses the challenges identified at a global level. Whether developing AI-enabled curricula for TVET educators or strengthening cooperation between training institutions and industry, the Coaction initiative equips UNEVOC centers with the tools, the insights, and partnerships needed to address local challenges with global relevance. And I'm particularly excited to hear the results and insights from this year's Coaction projects. And I'm very much looking forward to learning more about these projects and the lessons that will help us accelerate innovations and strengthen global collaboration in TVET. And before I hand over the microphone, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all the project teams for their commitment, creativity, and hard work. Your contributions are not only shaping the future of TVET, but also advancing the broader global TVET agenda in a meaningful and tangible ways. I also want to say how genuinely I delighted that I'm here today. I'm a part of this meeting today, and it's wonderful that UNESCO-UNEVOC is providing this room and space. From Ideas to Impact is the title. And this gathering offers an invaluable opportunity for us to deepen our collaboration and refine our ideas and work together on scaling innovative solutions across regions. I'm very much looking forward to the exchange of perspectives, the discussions that will follow, and the insights we will gain collectively. Thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you, Sebastian, for highlighting how the UNEVOC Network Coaction Initiative connects to the broader global TVET agenda partnership. So I think now we can move on to our first project presentation. Project 1 is titled Mapping the TVET Industry Ecosystem, a methodology for identifying innovative partnerships between TVET institutions and workplaces. So it is led by the University of Nottingham Centre for International Education Research in the United Kingdom. And its partner centres include Jet Education Services in South Africa, Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology in Australia, the University of Technology in Jamaica, and Duoc UC in Chile. So I am pleased now to invite Dr. Joanna Russon, Senior Research Fellow at the University of Nottingham, to present the project. So Joanna, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rory. Thank you, colleagues. And thank you, Rory, as well, for introducing our team partners. And I want to just start there with the team, because this Coaction initiative was completely a team initiative, and that included Victoria Traverso and Alejandra Shaw from Duoc, who would often join our online meetings at about 7 o'clock in the morning, Jet Education Services with Zaida Valley and Andrew Patterson, RMIT in Australia, we had Scott Phillips and Seth Brown, who would join our online meetings at 10:30 at night, and Richard Samuels and Shemaine Barrett, who would join our online meetings at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. And everyone always joined in all of our online meetings. And so us as a team, we worked together, and the objective for our project was, as Rory said, to think about a TVET industry mapping initiative, and to find a methodology for TVET colleges to map actual and potential connections to industry. So why a mapping tool? Why a TVET industry mapping tool? Why does it matter? Various challenges, and these challenges are global challenges, and we certainly identified these challenges amongst our partner UNEVOC centres. So a general mismatch between industry and TVET, and particularly a persistent gap between TVET provision and industry skills demands. And in this project, we took the opportunity to try and understand that from the perspective of the TVET college. Green and digital transitions is also another driver as to why sort of TVET industry mapping can be important, particularly where that helps support alignment with the SDGs, environmental, social, government principles, and more broadly, sort of the rapid technological change that we are seeing in industry and workplaces nationally and internationally. Limited labour market intelligence for some contexts, particularly for some colleges who also experience fragmented partnerships. So the particular challenge TVET providers, TVET colleges are aware of what we were calling the TVET industry gap and the challenge of connecting their courses, their curricula and their students to current jobs, but also to future jobs and future industries, but they don't always have the means to respond. So the intervention that we are presenting today and sharing in this UNEVOC Network Coaction Initiative Showcase is what we call the TVET-Industry Roadmap. So what is the TVET-Industry Roadmap? So essentially, it's a 4-step practical roadmap that's guided by 4 key questions. And it's a process for TVET colleges to map actual and potential connections to industry. So actual in terms of thinking about who are they currently connected with, but potentially who might they potentially be connected with as a college in terms of their curriculum and student placements, and also TVET lecturer placements. So it supports systemic mapping, thinking about the skills ecosystem, and thus it links with the UNEVOC publication on skills ecosystem mapping. So we formally link our project with that former work of UNESCO-UNEVOC. And rather than being compliance driven, the process actually takes an iterative process, beginning with sort of thinking internally from the college perspective, and then also really working towards active partnerships and new relationships with relevant industry stakeholders. Possibly it could work as a hub model. So you could have a larger TVET institution that could partner with smaller TVET institutions. You could have the hub model that involves a UNEVOC centre or a university partner. And because we envisage this process as something that would run over a 3-year cycle, it's quite useful to have that institutional leadership. So even if personnel change within a college or a UNEVOC centre, that institutional structure is there to keep that cyclical process. We think that the roadmap simplifies industry engagement, and we workshopped the roadmap in 5 countries. And what we found when we shared this was that it really was relevant, and there was actually high demand. Some in a couple of the workshops, colleges actually were asking, could they take the roadmap away now? And as I say, we envisage it as a 3-year process, and the design principles underpinning the roadmap is that it should be simple, flexible, adaptable, future-oriented, particularly future-oriented around the future of work, industry skills and vocational education, inclusive. We think very much about the informal economy, and also locally driven but nationally aligned. So the 4 steps at a glance. So step 1 is very much internal, thinking about industry skills mapping. So doing a stock take of current offerings and employment outcomes from the college perspective. And that might be about identifying data sources that they already have, data sources that could be used to really address that key question of what industries, skills does our TVET college currently specialise in. Moving then to step 2, to the creation of new data. And that step is really about identifying future work opportunities and emerging industries. And again, that's about data mapping. And in the roadmap methodology, we present various tools and links and ideas about how a college can proceed, TVET college can proceed through each of these steps. Step 4 is then about holding relationship building forums. And if you remember that we envisaged this as a 3-year process, this might be something that starts in year 2, for example. So they're really engaging with the stakeholders who are involved in that sort of TVET industry bridging partnerships, or who should be involved, and thinking about those relationship building forums at the micro, meso and macro level. And then finally, step 4 is actually about action and reimagining partnerships, co-creating programs and mechanisms that might be through formal MOUs or formal stakeholder collaboration agreements. And the idea there is that there would be a formal activity that is about developing a new course or revising a particular curriculum, or a new partnership that could be targeted at a particular development of green skills and integration of that into a local college and the local economy, for example. So opportunities for engagement with the roadmap. We certainly will be looking to explore piloting this with TVET colleges and piloting this idea of a hub model. Ongoing engagement, hopefully with UNEVOC, so that there can be ideally some UNEVOC-led coordination, cross-country exchange, and also developing multimedia support. You can't necessarily see it on the roadmap there, but essentially we've got little toolbox items, and really that could signify where a TVET college could click on the toolbox and it takes them to the roadmap methodology for that particular step and key question. And we'll, as it said earlier, the slides will be available for sharing, and we put the names and the email addresses of all the team members here. And thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you.
Thank you, Joanna. That was actually a really insightful presentation, and I think it sets us up well for the Q&A session. So we now are going to open up the floor for a short question and answer segment, which will take about 10 minutes. And I'm going to invite my colleague, Miss Lenny Martini, Assistant Program Officer at UNESCO-UNEVOC, who will now moderate the Q&A. So Lenny, over to you.
Thank you, Rory, and thank you so much, Joanna, for the presentation. I admire the commitment of the team of your Coaction initiative, especially listening that they are attending Zoom meeting in different time zones. So yeah, congratulations. So I see that this is a very important tool for TVET institutions. So I was wondering to start the discussion. I was wondering if you'd like to maybe try out piloting these tools in your TVET institutions, also in the context of South Africa, Australia, Jamaica, and Chile. Yeah. And while you are answering that, I would also like to encourage online participants to put their questions in the Q&A box. Please.
Thank you very much for that question. So we did, each of the UNEVOC centres, we did hold engagements with TVET colleges, so across certainly those countries. So in South Africa, in Nottingham, in Jamaica, in Chile, and in Australia. So we didn't have the time or the funds in this project to trial the tool, to pilot the tool in that sense, but obviously we did hold those stakeholder engagement workshops, and we were able to sit down, share the objective of the project, what we'd come up with, and really have a deep dive into the 4 steps and think about what would work, what wouldn't work. And actually, as a result of those workshops, we actually changed the name from a mapping tool to the TVET-Industry Roadmap, because one of the things that came out was that sense that actually this is a sustained process. But we certainly would see that the next step for us is to secure funding to actually pilot the tool. We do genuinely think that there's something really significant here for a TVET college to really actually actively think about its connection to industry in an innovative way, and that the 4 steps can really guide processes that already exist, but create space for thinking creatively and thinking more formally about future connections and possible connections that either aren't seen at the moment, they're not visible, or they just haven't made those connections. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And if anyone from your team would like to also answer the questions or sharing their experience in the workshop, maybe we can ask
that would
them
be great. I know
yes.
most of the team
While we are waiting for the question and answer from the online audience, I would like to also ask about how do you see that these tools combine with the ecosystem map dimensions that we have from the UNEVOC Innovation Framework?
Thank you. So at the moment, the UNEVOC Ecosystem Innovation Framework, we integrated that primarily in step 2, because it's really has a useful step-by-step process that helps a college to think about what its skills ecosystem looks like, who's maybe in that ecosystem. So there's a process there that really aligns with step 2. So we've put that there as a specific resource with the links in the roadmap methodology.
Thank you so much. I think the fact that the tools then from TVET mapping, then you change it to the TVET roadmap is really important because, as you said, this is a 3-year project and it's an iterative process that you have. Yeah. So we do really hope that the other TVET institutions can learn a lot from these tools. I don't see any other questions in the chat. I think, Rory, due to the time, I would like to suggest that we move into the next presentation, if we may.
Yes, Lenny. I just noticed that one colleague, one participant raised their hand and then lowered the hand. So I was just wondering, Edward Macau lowered his hand again, but would Edward like to just say a few words there? Just would give the opportunity to open the floor to you.
No, thank you. No, I was just trying to, there's something I didn't get right, but let's continue going along, and then maybe I can catch up at some point. But the presentation was good. The presentation was good. Impressed.
Perfect, Edward. Thanks for the input, and thanks everyone. Thanks Lenny for the questions and comments there. We're now going to turn on to our second project presentation, and project 2 is titled Asset Skills for AI for Skills, Sustainability and Training. Now, the lead center is the Chamber of Skilled Crafts Ostwestfalen-Lippe zu Bielefeld here in Germany, and the partner centers in this project include the UNEVOC Center for Sustainability, which is a consortium of UNEVOC centers, the University Magdeburg, GIZ, and Fraunhofer Institute here in Germany. But they also had other international partner centers, so the Human Resource Development Council in Mauritius and the University of Vocational Technology in Sri Lanka. So I would now like to invite Ms. Maribel Illig to present their work. So Maribel, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much, Rory. That was absolutely great introduction to our Coaction initiative. It's called ASSET, and ASSET really stands for AI for Skills, Sustainability and Training. And I would love to introduce it today to you guys, what it's all about. And if you have any questions, please write it in the chat. I would really love to answer them. So I'm having, okay. As you have mentioned before, these are the project partners. We kind of fell in the lead because I actually asked the question is, how can we enable our teachers and trainers in vocational training to use AI in their everyday work? So this was an important question that we initially had. And I had the feeling, at least when it came to my teachers and trainers, because I'm also head of a vocational training center, that a lot of my trainers were kind of reluctant. They used AI in a like, you know, private way, but they were reluctant to introduce AI into everyday teaching and into the TVET thing. And we were like talking about this with different UNEVOC centers, and this is actually where ASSET and the idea came from. So why does it matter? I mean, we have been talking about this before. AI is transforming the world of work and learning, and the TVET systems, they really have to adapt on different levels. On the one hand, in vocational training, as you all know, we teach the work process that we have. And a lot of times AI is even implemented in the working process, like when you're thinking about predictive maintenance, when it comes to precision mechanics, for example. But at the same time, we are talking about AI when it comes to, you know, organize your teaching, maybe to make your teaching material better or to use it in the training. So the core idea of ASSET is really educate the educators first. This is what it is about. And because teachers are playing a decisive role in shaping the ethical and sustainable use of AI. And this is, yeah, the core idea of why we started ASSET. And when you're looking at the policy context, it is embedded into UNESCO's Education 2030 agenda, and it contributes directly to the SDG skills for employment and decent work. And we made sure that ASSET is in line with UNEVOC's vision of a human-centered, equitable and sustainable digital transformation and education. It is not a technology-centered idea or approach that we chose, but it's a human-centered approach, and I think this is very important to stress. So what is the asset exactly? It's an open source self-learning course with 5 modules that is specifically tailored for vocational teachers and trainers. And if you scan the QR code that you see here, you can start right away with as it go along. It is open access, it is free to use because the course utilizes LeoScript, which is an innovative open source platform. It's not, behind a paywall. It's for everyone. Don't expect anything like super fancy. There are no super videos, fancy videos in the course, because we wanted to make sure that you can, learn with Asset everywhere, even if your internet is not going to work, if you want to use it offline. LeoScript makes this possible, and Asset really empowers educators to use AI tools to, as I said before, customize learning materials, adjust content and pace, and align the themes with evolving educational and sustainable priorities. So, that's what it's all about. So the unique thing, I think, is that is open source and it's scalable. There are no licensing barriers. It's human-centered, as I stressed before. And I think the cross-regional cooperation that we had in our project team, that was something that is what was really, really important. And I will explain later why I think this was very important to have the insights from Mauritius and Sri Lanka here. We have designed the course, and then we have made, of course, a pilot. And I would like to present to you the results that we got from the evaluation with 91 TVET teachers from Germany, Sri Lanka, and Mauritius who participated in this course. And I can just tell you, it was so great to see it, to see the response, because the teachers and trainers that we had, they were not at the same level. Everyone had a different level. Some were not using AI at all. They were very reluctant to use it, and some were like more on the professional side, I would say. They knew a lot of AI tools already, and so it was very, very interesting to see them, how they approach that, and to get the evaluation and the feedback, and how they experienced the course. The evaluation was based on a structured questionnaire based on the learning objective, on a 5-point Lincoln self-assessment, and the focus was on reflective, ethical, and applied competence. And in the course, you will really have a practical impact, and I will explain later how we kind of try to make this possible. So let's talk about the key achievement in these different areas. When it came to reflective capacity, the educators really developed a nuanced understanding of AI's opportunities and risks, and enabling them to make informed decisions about its use in teaching. I think this is something that is really, really important, and I was happy that Asset was able to contribute to this capacity, to this reflective capacity, because it is really important to understand what AI model you could use, what it means, what risk and opportunity in your work it is. And when I'm thinking, for example, ChatGPT is absolutely useless when it comes to precision mechanics. If you ask a question, it doesn't make any sense at all. So yeah. That was very, very good. Ethics and responsibility was also very interesting, because the teachers demonstrated a high competency in recognizing ethical issues, data protection and requirements, and fairness in AI use. And as I said before, and especially in this category, I personally found the insight from Mauritius and Sri Lanka very important. Because you have to understand that the data these AI models are trained with not represent every, citizenship or every part of the world equally. So small countries like Mauritius or Sri Lanka are not represented well in the data that is used for training AI. And you have to be aware of these issues. And when you use AI, that some, replies that you get are not working really well with all of these models. The practical application, and this is also something that made me personally very, very happy, because over 70% of the participants reported actively integrating AI tools into their teaching after they have done ASSET, which was really great. And I personally talked to one of my pastry chefs, and he was a non-AI user before, and he was really having with ASSET the starting point to get to know AI and to really lower this maybe barrier to use it, or overcome the fear that I might not use it right. And then I came into the classroom the other day just because I wanted something different, and I saw him using AI into the teaching and the training, and that was for me personally a wonderful moment. And we try to achieve that because in ASSET you accompany Rani, which is she is a teacher in electronics, and you accompany her on her own journey. She is a vocational trainer, and you can accompany her on her own journey to get to know AI and to implement AI into her own teaching. And so we tried to really create everyday working situation that every vocational trainer can relate to, and so make it very practical so you can use it right away. Well, lifelong learning is something that is very special, and the project also fostered a culture of continuous professional development. And as I would expect that teachers have an understanding of that lifelong learning is something that is very important. But I mean, with AI, lifelong learning, even, you have to understand that you don't take this course like ASSET or whatever, and then you know everything about AI. I mean, this is not going to happen, because AI and the models are evolving so fast that you continuously have to learn, and you have to continuously really update yourself about what is going on. So the culture of continuous learning and the skills that are needed, I think this is something that is really important to stress it as well in this context. So when we look at the core competencies areas that are very important here too, the human-centered mindset that I've been talking about before, and this is identifying the opportunities and risk of AI. This is something that is really, really important. That was being able after taking, the feedback was that they were able to do that, and also reflect on the limitations on ethics, as I mentioned before, and also explain the pedagogical value of AI. I mean, you don't implement AI into your training because you want to use AI. It does have to have really a benefit to your teaching, otherwise you won't use it. This is what I mean with, human-centered mindset. It's around, what is good for my teaching, what is good for the learners here, what is beneficial to them. Is AI a beneficial tool? Yes or no? And this was something that was very important as well, and I'm very happy that ASSET could contribute to that. Yeah, they understood a different AI system, which is also important, because not every ChatGPT is not for everyone and for everything. As I said before, all the different models do have different limitations, and they have also different benefits, and you have to understand what AI system is fitting best. And they were also confident about to evaluate AI-supported assessment tools. This was a huge discussion, by the way, with the teachers that we had about assessments. This is another story, but I just wanted to say that I think every teacher and trainer around the world is really asking is how can we assess now, because everyone is using AI, what the students or the learners are presenting as a result of their work. So professional competence and lifelong learning, as I said before and I stressed before, it's about changing roles and skill demands that are changing with AI. And teachers were aware of that. And I think this is very important to stress out that AI is really not only changing the way we teach, but it's also about changing the role of teachers and trainers and their own skill demands. It was also interesting when we're talking about the cross-country insights, and I was a little bit surprised that we have a difference when we're talking about gender. Women showed a higher self-reflection on AI skills, and that was for me a very interesting outcome. But it was also interesting when we're talking about the institutional context that schools needed a clearer ethical guidelines for AI, and this does have a policy implication. It means that national AI policies have to be strengthened in education. This is something that I think this is very important to implement in every national AI policy. And also when we come into the country comparison, Germany showed a stronger in technical foundations, and that means that you kind of have to tailor the training to the local starting points that you have when you're talking about these policy implications that we have. For us, ESSET exemplifies how UNESCO's call for inclusive, ethical, and human-centered AI in education can be translated into a practical teacher empowerment. This is really what we think ESSET is for, and it builds digital trust through transparency and open access. And really, we think that it strengthens TVET as a driver of sustainable economic growth. And it improves that AI literacy can be built in an equal and responsible way. And we really hope that decision makers are invited to support open AI education, to not hide everything behind a paywall, but to use open access resources, to open resources that we have worldwide, because there are a lot of models that are free to use, and we have to bring it into the world. And it is very important to integrate the AI competency framework into the national TVET policies. So and that's about it. So if you want AI in your classroom, and I very much hope you do, ESSET would be your first step into a practical, ethical AI for teaching. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Maribel, for the presentation. Thank you so much. I think this is a very important and interesting topic that I would like to really invite all participants to just put their questions on the chat or raise their hand if you want to share your insights on this topic. So also before we go into the questions for you, Maribel, I would like to also encourage participants to still put the questions for the first project in the Q&A box. Then we will ask the team for the first project to answer live during this webinar. Yes. So now back to you, the ESSET project. I'm following this project a bit more closely than the others, and I'm very share about the nuanced understanding from different countries, the team in the ESSET project. I think it aligns very much with the objective of this Coaction initiative to have the TVET institutions from different countries, different regions in their own context, building on tools that can be used all over the world for our UNEVOC networks and also beyond. And I also really like that you mentioned the gender aspect, which is because you said that the woman shared higher self-reflection.
Yeah.
AI. It aligned very much with the webinar that we just organized last week on boosting gender equalities in STEM courses and related TVET. So we do hope that the tools that you are developing now with the team can contribute more in boosting this gender equality in STEM related course. So I still haven't seen any question. Oh, wait.
Oh, there is one.
Question. There's one question from Mr. Edward Mokau. How long was the pilot or test period conducted?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question, and thank you, Lenny, for your kind words. Yes, the pilot test project, the nuggets, the 5 learning nuggets that we have there are all around 55 minutes, and usually it's you do it self-paced. But we did the pilot actually in a very compressed way. That means everyone had to be in one room, which you usually don't do. And we did all the 5 modules in one go, meaning we were around like 2 to 3 hours. And I think for me, it was very insightful because I had the direct feedback from my teachers and trainers. We were talking about afterwards, and then we were actually really talking about is how do we go on from there? Because what I said before is asset is only a starting point to make things understanding, and you really have to see what works for your institution in what context, and it really depends on also the profession, what AI model is really suitable and which ones are not. And so we kind of try to implement now, this was an idea actually from my teachers and trainers, to implement kind of a what's it called? In Germany, it's called a Erfahrungsaustausch. It's we kind of want to sit together and we share our experiences that we have with AI, and so we try to learn from each other. And this is actually that we somehow want to institutionalize in our vocational training center. I don't know how. I hopefully will find out a way with my teachers and trainers later on this day, because we have a big meeting of the whole department, and we will try to find a way how we will make this happen. If we make it happen online and everyone is sharing their experience or not, I'm very happy to see that at the end of the day.
Thank you, Maribel, and also thank you, Edward, for the question. I'm still inviting colleagues to put their question in the Q&A or raise their hand if you want to be involved in this interesting discussion. And now maybe another question. You mentioned about the assessment examination with AI. We know that the students are most probably younger than the teachers and the trainings, and they are more familiar with the AI tools. And now, in your experience in developing this project, also from the team, if anyone wants to answer, how can we design examination tasks in a way that reduce inappropriate AI assistance?
Well, I talked to one of our trainers, and he's also part of an examination, what does it mean, board, and he always said, well, you can use AI, but at the end you have to explain how you came to that conclusion without AI in the exam. So this was very funny, and he was just like, you can do whatever you want to, you can use AI, but you have to understand the solution, and you just cannot rely completely because you have to explain it to us, to the board, and then you have to really understand what you're doing. So yeah, that was, I think, a very good solution to that question, but there is not one solution. There are difficulties. But this is actually not what ACID is about. It's not about how to assess whatever students are doing. It's more about getting to know different AI tools. But I saw there was another question.
There was another question. Is there any other question? Oh, from Mr. Scott Phillips, to what extent are student voices being integrated into the research and development of these AI in TVET training?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We had a very interesting workshop in Sri Lanka at the University of Vocational Technology. That was very interesting with students, and if I remember correctly, we had like over 90 students that were participating, or over 100, I don't remember correctly, and that was very interesting because the students were all over the place when it came to AI. But it was a little bit like, you have to learn how to prompt. And this was something where students were okay, but not very good. So yes, we talked about that with students as well, and so their voices were heard, and that was very interesting because it really showed that we have to educate the educators really, so they can keep up with the AI usage. Yeah.
Yeah, building on that answer, Maribel, there is a question from Max. So, how do you deal with the fact that developments in AI are so extremely fast, in developing the tools?
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, it's, in my personal opinion, it's not about the pace, because once you understood what it is and where to find different models and where to find models that are useful, whatever you do in your everyday work, and you understood the principle and how to prompt and how to use and how to use different AIs in order to combine them and then really get a result. If you understood this process once, I think you can keep up with the models are getting not more intelligent because they don't, but getting better. The data they are trained with they are better. So you have to understand the principles, I'd say, of using AI and to combine different AIs and then to get a better result for whatever you're doing, and to, how to prompt and what agents can do and all that stuff. Yeah. And what agents cannot do.
Okay, yes, that is truly important for TVET and to look at the limitation of each of the AI tools. I think we still have a comment from Mr. Scott Phillips in following his questions. To finish with the word of frameworks, maybe I would like to invite Mr. Scott Phillips to come to the floor.
Yes, no, I was just correcting my English. I didn't mean to finish with in these AI in TVET training. I was thinking it was to do with the training frameworks and principles that you have been developing. No, I think it sounds like a very interesting project, but I'm just interested to hear how student voices might be embedded in the shaping and co-design of these frameworks, and also, to hear their voices around the ethical issues too that everyone takes. Anyway,
yeah, very important.
Extremely interesting.
Someone has mentioned before that there is also a framework for from UNESCO. There's an AI framework, competency framework for teachers and for students as well. And I highly recommend everyone to look at it, because these frameworks are so great to give you an idea where to go from the different sides. And that's excellent word from UNESCO here.
Yes, thank you so much. I think Max already put the link in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, thank
you very much, Mr. Scott Phillips, for the questions, Mr. Edward, and also Maribel and the team. Congratulations once again. And I think I will hand back the floor to Rory for the next project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lenny, Maribel, and also Edward. That was a really interesting and lively kind of questions and reflections on the project. So now, in the interest of time, we're going to move forward onto the third project. So project 3 is titled Strengthening Dual Training by Increasing Private Sector Engagement and Industry Stakeholders Capacity Building in Kenya. The lead center is Rift Valley Technical Training Institute, or VTTI, in Kenya. But we also have partner centers, which include the University of Cape Coast in Ghana, Rundu Vocational Training Center in Namibia, and University of Rwanda's College of Science and Technology. So today I'm very pleased to invite Mr. Graham Katutsi. He is the UNEVOC Center Coordinator at RVTTI, and he's here to present his project. So Graham, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Ruairi, and the team. I'm very much humbled to have this opportunity to showcase what we've done in light of our Coaction project. So if you'll allow me to share my screen. So basically, this is a short presentation just to highlight where we started with the project. So the background and rationale of this project basically was to have dual training calculated in TVET. And in this case, when we talk of dual, we really are looking at the fact where both the learning in the industry and learning at the TVET institution are at a state of balance, 50-50. So we did a background research before we come up with this project and realized that TVET is actually very key to Kenya's development strategy. And when I say Kenya, it is not really Kenya. We were looking at mostly African countries, and we happen to have to share a lot in terms of the needs, and there was need to align the training with the market demands, and then there was need to increase graduate employability, because as we were able to do a small market research, we found that graduates employability was very low, in as much as we really looked at graduating high number of trainees. So the problem that was identified is that 70% of TVET graduates take over a year to find work. And this is data obtained from Kenya National Bureau of Statistics in 2021. There was also a problem of limited work-based experience and outdated curricula. There were employers actually faced high retaining costs, and there was weak apprenticeship enforcement and minimal structured engagement. The aim of this project that came right in time was to enhance dual training through stronger industry engagement, strengthen institutional capacity, align the curriculum with market needs, improve employability of TVET graduates. And the objectives were to enhance capacity in dual training, mentorship, strengthen TVET private sector partnership, align occupational standards with market needs, expand industry participation on work-based learning, promote knowledge exchange and benchmarking, then establish a suitable monitoring and evaluation. Key activities in this case are as documented. That we had intended to do a needs assessment planning, which was done. We needed to do training for industry and institutional staff, which has actually been done. Then mentorship program launch, and then industry forums and MOUs, which are partly towards completion, and then job fairs and online platforms, and then curriculum alignment and monitoring and evaluation. Partner institutions are Rundu Technical Vocational College in Namibia, University of Rwanda in Rwanda, and the University of Cape Coast in Ghana. This is the lead team from the lead institution, which is RVTTI. We were a team of 12. At the start of the project, we were 8, which I actually captured, and everyone took part in participating in different active roles, including fieldwork and including administrative approval of budgets and such for internal processes. These are the names as they were introduced by Gough Ruairi, Damien from University of Rwanda, Cornelius Mpande from Rundu, and Christina Boateng from University of Cape Coast. The expected outputs of this project were to come up with the training manuals, videos and web materials, revised curricula and occupational standards, and the MOU signed with more than 120 industry partners. This one cuts across the 3 countries, Kenya, Namibia, and Rwanda. And then online engagement and job fairs, then final reports, policy briefs, and communications through publications. And our target beneficiaries were 150 plus upskilled trainers and mentors, minimum of 30% being women, more than 50 mentees engaged in dual training, SMEs and large enterprise forums and MOUs, country national education authorities, donor and policy advocacy stakeholders. And timelines of the budget, timelines of the project are as stated, though we really faced a lot of challenges due to government policy in terms of procurement of items as well as travels. our project had to delay for some time. So on to my second presentation. On to my second presentation. Most of this I had captured during my first presentation. So what changes?
Graham, just so you know, I think you have to share your screen for the second presentation.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to.
No problem, no problem.
Sorry. Okay, just share the screen window. I believe it's visible from your side. So
yes, that's perfect. We can see it.
Thank you. Yeah, these ones were captured in my previous presentation, but I made an inclusion of the number of TVET and industry we reached out. We actually reached out to more than 100, but we successfully got 61 respondents for our needs assessment survey. And we took some time to be able to analyze the data. We used an online link using a Combo toolbox that helped us be able to capture this data from respondents who are out of reach, and also international responses from Ghana and Namibia who used the online. The ones we could access them, we actually just did a pick and drop method to ensure comprehensive and active participation. These are the tools we used: the Google Forms, Combo Toolbox, Excel, and SPSS for data analysis, as well as Google Workspace and Microsoft Office Suite for live interaction. And the key findings were that we had some strengths and weaknesses. Strengths in this case, we had active partnerships and strong interests in joint training. And weaknesses were irregular feedback mechanisms and misaligned curricula, but there are opportunities and threats as well. Opportunities being industry mentorship, internship, and project co-design. And then there's a threat of resource constraints and a lack of structured monitoring and evaluation framework. That is actually in line with the data collection. And after data collection, we did analysis, and there are gaps that were identified. And one was limited hands-on exposure to industry tools and processes. There was low integration of industry needs to the curriculum, and there was insufficient knowledge of emerging technologies like AI, automation, and digital systems. There was weak emphasis on workplace readiness skills, and there were also gaps in mentorship and learner support. That is between the industry and the faculty, TVET faculty, the trainees that we actually post to them for employment. And the implications for trainers and industries that trainers need, that there's need for continuous upskilling and exposure to real work environments. For industry, the implications are that we need participation on curriculum design and core training. And for both, we need to build a structured communication and feedback channels just to be able to update one another on what is to be done as far as training is concerned. So the recommendations are as highlighted: establish a joint TVET-Industry Steering Committee, implement regular tracer studies and skill audits, develop digital collaboration platforms for project tracking, and institutionalize the feedback mechanisms for continuous improvement. And when all this is being integrated, we actually look forward to integrating the findings into policy and institutional planning. This will go a long way to also involve the education authorities to be able to see what they can chip into the already existing curriculum to be able to address these needs. And we need capacity building through the Coaction initiative hubs, as well as continued collaboration for sustainable industry-led TVET transformation. So I'll have to end that. And my last presentation, we just reshare. So I just did this very fast to just give a caption of the team that was involved in this work. The project was launched in 3rd of June, and this is the team that we had during the launch. Most of them being the industry stakeholders. We have trainers and also the project team being led by the project lead, Madam Lois Kuto. These actually members from the lead team at RVTTI. And this is just a caption of the exercise that has been going on between the industry and faculty in terms of capturing data, engagement, and monitoring feedback from the industry side. And this is just a graph showing the results of the needs assessment survey. As you can see, there are a number of areas that I had highlighted in my previous presentation. In terms of percentages, you find that there's internal training programs being conducted. The companies that are reported having internal programs are about 65%. We have trained mentors who are trained, just something short of 40. Infrastructure available. Most of them had their infrastructure ready to be able to support that. And then policy awareness, practical technical gaps, adaptability, technology, workspace safety, professionalism, MOU readiness, technology integration readiness, and also preparation for dual training. So preparation for dual training, 61% reported that they are very ready to embrace dual. That means that we'll have a larger base to have students both trained in the industry. So this, I had mentioned these gaps. I'll not need to, maybe I'll just go through them very fast about hands-on exposure to tools and processes in the industry, integration into the curriculum. There was no integration of the industry into the curriculum. That's why we constantly need to bring them on board and discuss with them, see what can be done. And then emerging technologies like AI, automation, and digital systems need to be in place. And then emphasis on workplace readiness for the trainees, gaps in mentorship and learner support, just to build on the relationship between the trainees that have been brought on board and the industry. And then capacity for structured mentorship and coaching. And then competency-based assessment, limited adaptation to new technologies, gaps in the workspace, safety compliance. Some of these gaps identified have been repeated, but they all mean the same thing. So development of this is just a caption of an exercise we had with the industry. For every activity, we normally take some photos just to be able to make it clear for process tracking and reporting. And this still capacity building of trainers and industry at the Rift Valley region. So we occasionally encourage this so as to update one another and see what new changes can be done into the curriculum to ensure that there is harmony and coherency. And this is just a small photo as I had gone to check on a company, an MOU that has already been signed in light of this. We have quite a number of MOUs, about 35 by now. Our target is to have at least 120 within the 3 countries. I'm still in the process of gathering more. And industry forums, we intend to do a publication. So there was a forum that was conducted, a conference, and our paper is underway. So hopefully by next year we'll have done a publication on this project that we are currently working on. So that's it for my presentation. One last thing I would really wish to mention is that we were invited for the global TVET forum in Germany. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to attend physically because of some logistical and time constraints issues from our place. but we were assisted from the other side, and our presentation was done. We had submitted an e-poster. Maybe I can just show you the e-poster and the link, and then we can now move to the next section.
Thank you very much, Graham, for sharing with us the experience from your project, and congratulations also for the result of the project. I see that the team has successfully managed several to sign many MOUs and 100 to come. Yeah. So congratulations once again. I say that your project is very important to ensure the smooth transition to work for the students. Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you. So, hello. You were quite breaking. I don't know whether it's the internet on my side.
Yeah.
Maybe I can.
Maybe you can stop sharing the screen. Yes.
Okay,
Thank
sure.
you, Graham. Yes. Yeah, but really congratulations. I'm really happy, and I'm sure that also all of us very pleased to see the results of your projects. And we'll now invite the questions from audience. I see already several. So from Mr. Edward Mokau, his question is, what is the current state of dual training or TVET uptake in Kenya?
Well, I can answer that. Yes. So dual training, we has actually been adopted by the Ministry of Education, the State Department of Technical, Vocational Education and Training. And I will say out of 253 TVET, public TVET institutions we have in Kenya, more than 150 have embraced dual training. Only that most of them are embracing it on a smaller scale, but we are really fostering for it to be full-blown, so that all the courses being offered have got an aspect of dual training.
Thank you very much, Graham, also for Mr. Edward for the question. And there is another question from Mr. Richard Samuels. Is there a general acceptance and eagerness to utilize dual training, your jurisdiction?
Yes, I will say from the needs assessment survey we conducted, we really saw that the companies.
Graham, sorry, I cannot really hear your answer.
Are very ready to take up the dual training because of emerging are there. But okay, maybe it is an internet. Am I audible now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Let me change my network. Maybe you can hear me now.
Yes, it's good now. Please.
Stop my video. Okay. Oh yes. So what I was saying is that from the needs assessment survey we conducted, we found out that companies are really trying to embrace the issue of dual because there are so many changes taking place in the industry. There are more machines that are being brought on board that need to be trained on these students. So the normal mainstream, the curriculum, when they were being done, they had not captured the current technology that is in place. There are companies already embracing AI in their production lines, and we find that dual training will actually help these trainees get the first-hand market information and will enable them to work in harmony with the industry. So most of them are really ready to take up dual training.
Thank you, Graham. Now a follow-up question still from Mr. Richard Samuels. What is the level of support from the industry to enable this type of training?
They say they are quite constrained by finances, but from the companies who have got strong MOUs with TVET faculty, they are really positive and willing to support. in terms of provision of workspace, provision of training materials, but where fiscal monetary funds have to come in is cost sharing. They suggest that there should be a framework whereby there should be cost sharing between the TVET industry, the TVET institution, the Ministry of Education or the State Department, as well as the industry. So they are very much willing to support in whichever way they can.
Okay. Oh, thank you. It's really good to hear that. I think it is related to the next question because you mentioned about the framework. Yeah, Mr. Vikash sent out asking about what framework and support do industries in Kenya have in place to make the dual training effective. So is there any existing framework or you propose that framework only after this project?
Well, there was a previous framework, but the previous framework has actually been in place for about a year. And we started by looking at the already existing framework, and we had already identified a few gaps with the framework, which we intend to improve with the current model. So what we are supporting is not to come up with an entirely new training method. The dual training is already implemented in Kenya. There's a framework for that. Dual training is already implemented in Rwanda. There's already a framework for that. Our aim is actually to add value and improve, just to see that the dual training is in agreement with what the market demands. Because there are other places where dual training is conducted, but there are still gaps between the industry and the TVET. So we need to fill those gaps through our project.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the responses. Graham, I'm curious about the activity that you mentioned in the project about the job fairs and online platform and mentorship. Maybe you could elaborate more on the support from the industry on those activities.
Well, for the online job fairs and online engagement, we really sought out to talk to the industry as well as the partnering institutions to have collaboration, like a one-off kind of online platform that will put together the partners in the faculty, put together the industry, as well as the mentees, the trainees who are going to be churned out into this market. So these online job fairs, in as much as we don't have a budget for that, but we will actually see modalities of talking to them. If we could get sponsors for that, then that will be very okay. But we already have a learning management system, and this learning management system, we have already used it in training, for capacity building, for industry and faculty, for the activities that we've had during our Coaction project. And we are utilizing that as an online resource to be able to get in touch, update one another on what to be done on the training manuals and how to approach this. So we already have an online engagement. We only left to come up with a website that will be a full blog that anyone can now join, because what we have has only been limited to the 3 countries for industry and faculty, but we intend to expand the network so that everyone can be brought on board.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Graham. We are all looking forward to to the website and also to the publication that you said that you plan to have maybe next year. Thank you very much for the discussions, also for the online participants, for the questions. Rory, I think we can go then continue with the next project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Graham. Thank you, Lenny, and to everyone for your engagement in the chat. These were really interesting questions and important questions. So I think we're keeping on time quite well here. So I think we'll move on to our 4th and final project presentation. Now, project 4 is titled Innovating TVET for Regional Development, Fostering Regional Excellence through Makerspaces. So the lead center for this project is Solski Center Nova Gorica, CNG in Slovenia, and the partner centers include Mauritius Institute of Technical Development and Hotelier of Tourism School Paul de Bruyne in Cambodia. So I'm very pleased to invite Ms. Adriana Hodak, who's the head of the Intercompany Training Center at SCNG, and Ms. Chashia Petalin Bakar, project manager at SCNG, to present their project. So Adriana and Chashia, the floor is yours.
So thank you very much. Welcome to all. So our project, Coaction initiative, focused on creating a cross-regional network of makerspaces and workshops. Because these collaborative spaces enable students, teachers, and industry partners to co-develop solutions supporting sustainable development and digital transformation in TVET. But what was also our background of the partners together, because we wanted to create a common, let's say, network, and also the space to share the challenges that we face, because although we are so far away, we face very similar challenges, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel if some challenge or solution to a certain challenge is already developed somewhere. So this was one thing. Another thing was that the challenge-based approach, or to makerspaces, which is used in makerspaces, it's the fastest way to come to the latest skills, because that approach, working in makerspaces, demands the strong collaboration with the employers. And in that way, we actually really get a lot of the latest knowledge and also the skills. Then was another thing that we were addressing. This is also the challenge-based approach connects the theory and practice. So the students have the opportunity to observe what kind of challenges we face in our regions, at employers' places, and then they can do together, develop together with our teammates and together with teachers and business mentors, the solutions to it. And this is for the students very meaningful, and they feel very useful. So they are very much motivated, and in that way, the TVET we make also more attractive. And there is another thing why this was so important for us, because as discussed before in the previous project was a lot about AI. Also our project addressed in certain part artificial intelligence. Tiasha will explain later on. The challenge-based approach forces, let's say, critical thinking. This is also the issue that, or let's say the challenge that we are facing more and more with our students. And this challenge-based approach is a kind of pushing the critical thinking, and not just, let's say, rely everything on artificial intelligence, which is happening now too much. So how did we start our project? Because, as I said, we come from 3 different regions, from Asia, from Europe, and from Africa. And we wanted really to see if the challenges, the common challenges, I would say, we share quite similar. And of course, we came to digitalization and the rapid development, which influences very much our everyday life and education and work. We came to climate change and the green transition. We came to demographic changes. We came to societal pressures, and we came to structural challenges and education. And so this was the first step. And then, because we do strive and we want to collaborate on the long term, we want to agree how, if we have the same views on how do we see the world of today and tomorrow. And we align that we see, we have the focus on learners and society supporting, and we want to support them to discover their talents and potentials. We need to act agile, adaptable, of course, following all the digital changes and other technologies. And we want to also encourage, which we find very, very important, our students to act independently, but also to act very responsible towards society and environment, because the challenge is quite big and we need to really raise up responsible students. Just next slide.
Yes, yes.
So that's why we identified
Yes,
the common vocational standards, because in
I'm
our
on that meeting,
long-term
Moderator.
collaboration, I think that someone will switch off.
Ako for how long? Maybe.
Okay, thank you very much. So to collaborate together on the long term, it's very important that we align what for each of the partner represent excellence, vocational excellence standards. And so we align that for us are very important employability and life skills. Why did we say life skills? Because we observed that among young people in all 3 regions, very often they have the problem with the tackle very simple life problems. That's why we want not only to focus on employability, but also prepare them for the life of tomorrow, a very unpredictable future. For us, all of us, it's very important, of course, responsiveness of curricula and programs, because we know that the changes are happening too fast, professional development of teachers and school leaders, partnerships across the skills ecosystem, and modern and future-oriented infrastructure. We had a bit of problems with this issue because we come from different backgrounds, and, you know, offering to the students the newest technologies or equipment, this is not that easy for neither country and the region. However, we need to take care, or we will try to take care, at least if we cannot offer them, maybe we can offer them via the employers, I don't know, in the companies, during the apprenticeship, during the work-based learning, during the mobilities. So we need to look for the opportunities where we can offer our students, let's say, also the modern and future-oriented infrastructure, so to get to know with the latest technologies. I think that, Tiasha, now it's your turn. So that was the foundation and the start, the launch of our project.
Yes, hello everyone. My part of the presentation focuses on how we implemented challenge-based learning within the Coaction initiative. So a collaboration, I was already said, between our school center from Nova Gorica in Slovenia, MITD in Mauritius, and HIT Pol Dobro in Cambodia. So I will walk you through what challenge-based learning means to us, why we think it's important for today's VET system, and how the 3 partner countries approach it differently, and how the teacher training was organized in Slovenia. So challenge-based learning is for us, as we understood it, a way of learning where students work on real problems, not embedded exercises, but authentic challenges that come from companies, communities, or societal needs. So students work together with teachers, mentors, industry partners. So instead of being passive recipients, they explore, can ask questions, design ideas, and have the possibility to test their solutions. So this approach is strongly supported by Makerspaces. So where learners have access to digital tools, equipment for prototyping, spaces that encourage creativity and teamwork. So in short, challenge-based learning gives young people the opportunity to learn by doing and thinking, experimenting, and solving meaningful problems. All tools, templates, and learning resources that students used and that we used within our piloting activities are all openly available on our Coaction initiative webpage. Links are at the end of our presentations. We see challenge-based learning as essential for several reasons. So first, this brings real-life relevance into education. Students understand why they are learning something because they immediately apply it. Secondly, it builds transversal skills like communication, teamwork, creativity, problem solving, and technical skills such as digital competencies, data analysis, or sustainable practices. And third, the approach encourages innovation and mindset of entrepreneurship. Students learn to take initiative, make decisions, and they can turn ideas into real outcomes. So one of the greatest strengths, in our opinion, of this initiative is the international character. So although our three countries are very different, this diversity has become also an advantage. So in Slovenia, the focus was on AI-driven and community-oriented digital projects. In Mauritius, the emphasis was on the circular economy, agriculture, and hospitality. And in Cambodia, sustainability, tourism, and social inclusion played a key role. So these differences allow us to compare context, learn from each other, and see how similar and global challenges require different local solution. So despite our geographical and cultural distance, we discovered that the core of educational needs are more or less the same. So more innovation, more practical learning, and stronger links with society. To make things more concrete, here are some examples of the challenges each country implemented. So as I said, in Slovenia, students developed AI-based system for quality control in manufacturing, and they created 2 community websites, one for a cultural society, one for a volunteer fire department. In Mauritius, teams developed a repair club to reduce e-waste, introduced low-cost smart agriculture solutions for small farmers, and worked on modern culinary techniques through TVET cooking. In Cambodia, students launched an ecotourism hub, organized activities related to gender equality, and implemented environmental awarenesses action such as tree planting and sustainability workshop. So these projects shows also how flexible and adaptable challenge-based learning can be, responding to the local needs while building global competencies. And to support all these activities, we have organized a 3.5-day international workshop and training in Slovenia. The training covered 3 main pillars of the project. So mentorship and innovation leadership, it was delivered by MITD. Sustainability in TVET delivered by EHT, and generative AI in education, it was delivered by our school center. So we also included visits to schools, companies, and national institutions to show innovation and how innovation is applied into practice. And the workshop also gave teachers, at least we hope so, a strong foundation in a modern pedagogies, and increase their confidence to guide students through an open-ended and interdisciplinary challenges. So the impact of this approach is already visible. The collaboration between the 3 institutions has become much stronger. Students created real solutions, not only prototypes, but useful outcomes for communities and industries. teachers got new knowledges and empowered with new methods and tools, and also Makerspaces, we introduced them and are becoming an active environment for experimentation and innovation. Yes, and to ensure that this collaboration continues and to support further activities, we jointly prepare a memorandum of understanding. And now I give back the floor to Adriana to go.
So the key results again was to establish the regional makerspace network, which is supported by the web page. We call it now web page, but it's actually the space we want to upload and continue uploading the resources on these topics, because we would like to spread it within the network. Other members of the UNESCO-UNEVOC network. So we would like to make a kind of repository of different challenges and also how the solutions were developed to different challenges. So of course, a trained group of TVET educators. So as you could see, we have focused on the strengths that individual partner has. For example, our strength was very much in artificial intelligence and digitalization. From Cambodia in sustainability, and from Mauritius in challenge-based approach and mentoring. And in that way, we also implemented the training. We are already discussing now about how to connect the teachers, so to give the teacher training to other teachers who were not able to come to Slovenia and share the resources. So, as I said, we have established an open access digital platform providing materials and good practices. As Tjasa said before, so there you can see some tools, because to prepare really for the challenge-based approach, you really need to, be prepared properly, and the teachers and the students, and agree together with the employers and how to work in the teams and how to address the challenges. So it's not that much only that really an exact solution needs to be done. It is in many cases, but very important is the learning process. So this is the crucial here. And it was really amazing to see the students, how they interacted during the workshop when their challenges were presented. And that's also the focus to continue also within the mobilities that we are already discussing, that we want to implement now with students and teachers within these 3 countries. And just the last thing about the memorandum of understanding, really, if we can just continue to share. So actually, this is a very important issue for us, because it's about the commitment. And we have identified the areas of collaboration, capacity building for trainers, support digitalization in training, student mobility and online learning, develop, share and co-create TVET materials and tools, sharing of resources, support regional growth and sustainability, and promotion of institutional governance, because we have discussed a lot of it, that all these challenges and changes are influencing very much the governance of our institutions. But of course, it's very easy to write a memorandum of understanding. However, we have set our obligations, communication and coordination, monitoring and reporting, and promotion of good governance. And to really implement this, we are going to, this is the how to operate actually, that this is really going to be a kind of, let's say, a kind of body that is going on, a kind of commitment. So we have established a core team who will be responsible for the implementation of the topics that we have said before, and it's going to be definitely on the focus on challenge-based in all these segments learning. So we are going to prepare every year a kind of high-level roadmap, what we want to achieve and do together in that year. It's going to be the action plan in the background, and we are going to rotate the coordination of this partnership, and and we would like to spread the partnership to other interested members of the UNESCO-UNEVOC network. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adriana and Tiasa. This is really an excellent project. Congratulations. I think I share also similar opinions with other colleagues at UNESCO-UNEVOC and UNEVOC network that we are really happy to see the results of this project that you mentioned about the international dimensions of the different topics from different partner countries. So then you can also tackle the challenge based on the context, the regional context of the country, which is really nice. I also like that you already set up the web page that is accessible for everybody to see, with also already the resources. I look at the videos of the challenge-based learning presentation by the students, and it is really interesting to see how engaged they are in the project and how they're very proud to present the results from the project. So congratulations once more. I would like to invite the questions from the online audience, but up until now, I don't see any. So maybe I'd like to start a discussion by a question from myself. Maybe you could share how would you integrate this challenge-based learning into the existing curriculum? Like, how do you involve students? Are there students from the last year only, or how do you put this into their everyday teaching and learning?
I mean, the approaches are very differently in different countries. But for example, I can tell for Slovenia, but maybe the colleague, I think that Mr. Vikash is also with us, that he can share with Mauritius one. So definitely is an option, and we do it within work-based learning and also apprenticeship that we have, because as I said, this is a combination, a combined work between the students, teachers, and business mentors. But there is also another opportunity, because we don't want to do this just within the work-based learning or apprenticeship. That's why we try to integrate also in the rest of the part of the curricula, because we want really to have the interaction with the employers all the time. So we have a kind of open curricula of approximately 20%. And this open curricula actually, according to the legislation, demands that we need to, on the annual level, we need to discuss with our regional employers from the sectors that we cover what are the competencies and skills that we should integrate or that we need to change, or like this. So there is where we try to do it, because we don't want to make it, it was, in the past, it was very often that this was a kind of external, let's say, curricula part, which is not okay. Because, for example, in our school, we have the students who need to go back home after the school, because, they need to take the train. They are not that regular connections. So that's why we try to push as much as possible to do it within the curricula. Maybe Mr. Vikash, if you would like to, if you are still with us from Mauritius.
Yes, please.
Yes, I'm still here.
Hi.
Hi, and thank you for the nice presentation. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for the presentation. And actually, how we integrate our practice, it is already theory coupled with practical examinations, with practical assessments. So now what we intend to do is to ask the students to be involved in real life projects, in real life practicals. So how they can do this? With the collaboration of our industry partners, for example, for the end of year projects or the continuous projects that they have during the course, we can identify real projects in industries while the students are on industry placement. They identify the real projects and they can bring it back to the institution and start working on the potential solutions for that. And also, during the normal practical which they have to do, we can try and identify real projects and ask them to find solutions to. The students themselves will look for solutions on how they can address certain issues that have identified. Okay, by doing so, they improve their critical thinking. They try to find solutions by themselves. They build networks. So overall, it is very fruitful for the students.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your insights and responses,
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Fikas and all. I think we are now getting closer to the next item on the agenda. So thank you very much, Adriana and Tiasa. I trust that everyone who is interested in joining the network can contact you. And please also feel free to visit the webpage, which has interesting resources. Okay, I'm handing back the screen to Ruairi for the presentation of the next Coaction project.
Thank you, everyone. I think what's really clear from the presentations of the projects that we had today, that one of the special things about the Coaction initiative is the diversity in the projects, and also the internationalization of the projects. We bring a lot of partner centers together, and I think that it's a real kind of credit to each of the project leads to how they've worked together to implement these projects. At the moment, we've been looking back over these successful implementations, but I do want to take a few moments here, very, very short, to take a look into the future and have a look at the 2026 edition of the UNEVOC Network Coaction Initiative. So if you give me a minute, I'm going to share my screen, and I will just do, there we go. And then I will share this presentation. This is going to be very quick. So we do have planned for the 2026 UNEVOC Network Coaction Initiative. It will keep the same framework largely. And we are encouraging all UNEVOC centers to really consider coming up with ideas, reaching out to all the UNEVOC centers, similar to how you've seen these other UNEVOC centers, kind of generate a very kind of close bond with each of their project partners. So very quickly, the Coaction initiative, it's clear that, these are short cycle projects. We are looking for projects that last between, 2 and 4 months, that deliver practical, fast prototype or pilots with clear reusable outputs. They are also collaborative by design. So you can see that you have one lead center who have given the presentations here, but we have interventions from the partner centers who kind of act as, contributors and beneficiaries for the projects. We have clear outputs, tools, guidelines, outcomes, trainings, curriculum, workshops, micro-credentials. So these are something that the larger UNEVOC network and the global TVET community can benefit from, and they are made for replication. So you can see with the projects today, it's really to give you ideas of the tools and outcomes that maybe can be applied in your institutional national contexts. So why does it matter? We have fast impact, stronger partnerships, capacity boost, global reach for these projects. So looking towards next year in the Coaction Initiative 2026, I'll give you a brief understanding of the timeline that's going to take place. We are going to launch this initiative, this edition, on the 19th of January 2026. We will be sending out information to all heads of UNEVOC centers and all UNEVOC center coordinators, so they are aware when the project is launched and they can prepare their projects. Now, we're going to give about a 2-month window for the UNEVOC centers to prepare these projects, and they will be submitted on the 15th of March 2026. We will have an evaluation process that will take place up to the 31st of March 2026. There is a contracting process between UNESCO-UNEVOC and the lead center of the group, and then the project implementation takes place between July and October in 2026, with the projects coming close in November, where we will also have another similar kind of showcase webinar for those successful projects that are implemented throughout throughout 2026. So you've probably got an idea of the eligibility up to this point. You know, the applicants are UNEVOC centres only. They're not-for-profit institutions. We have a consortium of 1 lead centre and 2 to 4 partner centres. The submission process is a proposal submitted and designed by the lead centre on behalf of all the partner centres also. And then we have the implementation window of 4 months. And it is a co-financing project, which means that UNESCO-UNEVOC also contributes to the project as well as the lead centres and partner centres. So just to quickly say what we are looking for proposals, this might help you focus on, you know, your own topics. We're looking for clear problem focus, clear challenges, clear bottlenecks, where you can define one specific TVET channel, a challenge your consortium will address. There is a concrete output, so you can see here in this showcase webinar, we have tools, we have reports, and we have promising practices. So we would like you to describe the practical tool, guide, curriculum, training pack, or model that you will deliver within this 3 to 4 month project. We would like to show a replication path, because you can see that we are, you know, at UNESCO-UNEVOC and the UNEVOC network, we're really trying to disseminate this information to the benefit of the wider network. We would like to have a consortium strength where we identify the lead centres and partner centres, and it's really good to have an international collection of UNEVOC centres to really, you know, build those relationships, build those bonds, because even after the, you know, project's finished, we really want, you know, UNEVOC centres to continue their relationships and continue to working self together. There's also methodology and work plan, where we provide a step-by-step plan with the milestones, acceptance criteria, and responsible persons. And then sustainability and lessons learned, where we explain how results continue beyond the project and how you will capture lessons for the UNEVOC network. So that gives you an idea. If you are very interested in the Coaction initiative, you can contact me, Ruairi Gough, on or.gough@unesco.org, or you can contact the univoc.innovation@unesco.org. For any questions on the Coaction initiative for its new launch. If you are not part of the UNEVOC network, unfortunately, you can't apply for the Coaction initiative, but you would like more information on the UNEVOC network, please contact the UNEVOC network secretariat, which manages this network, on univoc.network@unesco.org. So on that point, I think we are good time now at the moment. Yes, we will just have 5 minutes now. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for their inputs and you know, the questions that were given to all the project leads, the partner centres, Lenny, as well as the team here at UNESCO-UNEVOC. It's really been a great input. I would like to now pass over to Mr. Kenny Muscat, who's the leader in the Innovation and Excellence team here in UNESCO-UNEVOC. So he will give the closing remarks. This is the last time you'll see me. So thanks very much for attending. I hope to see you all soon. And over to you, Kenny.
Thank you so much, Ruairi, for the introduction. It's a pleasure for me to be here giving the closing remarks. I was involved with some colleagues of mine, Ruairi, Lenny, at application stage already, and it's such a satisfaction to come here a few months later and witness 4 great presentations. We had a total contributions here from 16 different UNEVOC centers, being led by 4 very active UNEVOC centers. We had 4 out of 5 UNESCO-UNEVOC regions, and we had diversity in the countries as well, from the United Kingdom to South Africa, from Australia to Chile, and of course in between. And all this work was done just in a few months. So congratulations to all of you. I wanted to say something about each and every Coaction initiative, but in the interest of time, I will just share with you some common aspects that I observed. A strong sense of collaboration, which is very important for us at UNESCO-UNEVOC and the UNEVOC network, but also as part of the initiative towards a global TVET agenda. We are aware that time and resources are limited, so we need to collaborate even more. It was so good to hear that most of you mentioned the sustainable development goals, thematic areas that are of priority to UNESCO-UNEVOC. So we had innovation and excellence, we had private sector engagement, and we had artificial intelligence and others that are even addressed indirectly. It was also very interesting to know that all of the initiatives were thinking of sustainability when it comes to the complete, what happens afterwards. So memorandum of understanding, University of Nottingham mentioning that in the next 2 years they will continue to do work. We have also resources, for example, from the asset project that are available, of course, for the TVET community. A final thing that I observed, which was common, is the different stakeholders that were involved in these Coaction initiatives. So we had researchers, we had the TVET providers, we had the teachers, we had the students as well, and the private sector as well. So it was really good to make sure that everyone in the TVET ecosystem is being acknowledged and addressed. Now, I kindly ask you, we are encouraging you to help us in the dissemination as well. So you share the resources that you came up with from our end. We will have these available in the webpage for UNESCO-UNEVOC. Furthermore, we strongly suggest that within your own institutions, you share these resources as well so that we reach a wider audience. We would also like you that you help us in spreading the word for the 2026 call for applications. You just heard now from Rory some of the dates, important dates that we will be observing. It's very important that you share your experience so that we encourage other UNEVOC centers to also participate and lead such initiatives next year. We will make sure that we take feedback from all of you because we only want to improve the work that we are doing. I would like to mention another initiative that UNESCO-UNEVOC launched very recently, the Global Awards for Innovation in TVET, and also this forms part of the UNESCO-UNEVOC project, Innovation and Excellence in TVET, which is part of the Towards a Global TVET agenda. And my colleague here is sharing more information about this. You have witnessed here excellent initiatives. There are several other initiatives which are also excellent that we are not aware of. We would like to receive nominations in order to make sure that the great work being done in TVET gets more visibility. We need to make more noise. We need to to work together in order to make TVET more attractive, more accessible, more inclusive. So a final word from my end. I would, of course, like to thank BIBB, the German Federal Institute for Vocational Education and Training, as well as the Ministry for Education, BMBF-SFJ, for their strong support. It wouldn't have been possible to finance these Coaction initiatives without their support. The lead UNEVOC centers that presented today, as well as the partner centers that collaborated in the past months, well done for your work. Thank you to all the participants that joined today that were interested to learn more about what other TVET institutions are working on. Thanks also to Lenny, Max, and Rory for all from UNESCO for all the work that they did in the planning and organizing this event. And I would like to finish by saying that we really look forward to having you with us for future UNESCO-UNEVOC events. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.